I refuse to look stupid. And that is why I have taken my time to look at the book and say, what is this? If you read that book and you are anybody that is propagating that book as a blueprint for a Akufo-Addo, tell your 9-year-old or 7-year-old child, give it to him and you see what he will tell you. In fact, after I finished my next chapter show on Sunday and I went home, my 9-year-old boy watched me. When I go, he was asking me questions, but Daddy, this thing that you showed me, it doesn't add up. So the president did what? The president and his family wrote a book about their family. And they wanted to put their grandfather, Sir Oforiatta, in the book. And they mistakenly went to pick Nana Prempeh, the first picture, and put it there. This is it.
Where's the photograph?
So
this photograph is in the book.
Yes. So you see Otchere there. And then you see the picture they brought ostensibly to represent Nana Sir Oforiatta the first. Without them knowing that.
I'm confused.
This is a picture of...
Oh, this is Adom Prempeh?
Yes!
Oh, this is Aboagye, the minister sent this to
this
BBC.
This is Adom Prempeh.
Oh,
and this is a picture they picked from Google. But you see, like I said, everything
hold on.
is on intelligence.
They depict the picture as Nana
Yes.
They wrote that.
Yeah, that's the depiction.
But they didn't write it there.
But that's the depiction. The depiction they were making is that this is like an ancestral agenda.
Okay, so the photograph, if it's an Achim ancestral agenda, the photograph cannot be Ashanti. Because they're actually even rivals.
So why would Gabi and Akufo-Addo be able to write a book about their own grandfather and mistaking their grandfather's picture for
one of his rivals?
I mean, it doesn't make sense. Especially when they had already set an agenda to knock the heads of the Achim and the Ashanti people together. This is wickedness. This is malicious. And then you know what they do? So anytime...
But who is the author? Is there a known author?
Anytime an incident happens, Paul, I'll come to that. Anytime an incident happens, they will quickly go and update the book. And then they will release it. So, you realize that since 2020, you have times where you see an Agyapadie document flying.
Yeah, I've seen it. Comes
then
every now
it will
and
go.
Then
Another time
then it shows up again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you realize that immediately Osafo Mafo's son was made Senate DG. They quickly went to update the document.
But Osafo Mafo's son was deputy DG.
Yes.
So if the DG is retiring at 60, he's one of those who can
natural
become.
successor.
Yeah.
But even that, you realize that the first and second versions of the Agyapadie document doesn't have that story in there. It doesn't have it.
That's not Osafo Mafo's story.
At all. This whole Osafo Mafo one emerged immediately. The reshuffle or the changes came. Then they did the update. So one book. Let's even assume that they wrote a book and they mistakenly leaked the book. But Paul, let's get an 8-year-old to understand this. A group of people who want to rule a country write a strategic document or a blueprint, and then they do what? They do desktop publishing of the book, have a cover page, do hard copy binding, print, and distribute. How?
No, they are trying to suggest that they got it. They got wind.
So it was leaked.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It leaked to them.
So the 2017 one was leaked.
Yes.
And then the 2021 was leaked.
Yes.
Then when they did the revision of the second version, which is an update of the first version, that also leaked.
Yeah.
Then the third version.
They have a mole in there.
Then the third version.
They have a mole.
The third version also leaked.
Yes, maybe.
And then the same features, the same character. Nothing changes. The same document. It's leaked 3 times from the same people.
Okay, so what's the
such
point?
intelligent people who could have a blueprint and be so perfect and precise in its implementation make such fundamental error? How?
So what's the point that is being made against Dr. Bawumia's campaign with this? That the government that Dr. Bawumia wants to inherit, the politics that Dr. Bawumia wants to inherit, is a politics of state capture, is a politics of what?
Yes, I mean that's basically what they are driving.
Yeah, but in the Agyapadie, what has been taken? That's a state capture. Did they have Brian Achampong in there?
You see the point.
Did they have that Brian Achampong and hotel?
They haven't introduced him yet.
And it will be coming.
So immediately it happens, you should see an updated version of that document with it. I'm telling you. So you realize that you haven't seen anything about that.
So what's in the book do they say has been captured?
Well, they at the moment, you see, what they are saying is that there's a grand orchestration. In fact, they write in the book that our agenda of taking over this country, as started by our ancestors, must be completed.
Which of the ancestors took over this country?
I don't know. As started.
Started by Akufo-Addo is the first Achim person to be president.
Maybe that's why they brought. They were trying to bring Nana Sefo-Ofori-Atta in there.
Atta was never president.
And make it look like, well, they had a grand agenda or a grand scheme to do this. But you see, all of these things, for me, wouldn't have been an issue for discussion, but for the former president getting into the field. If you have a statesman, a man who's supposed to be a statesman, stand on a campaign trail and tell the people he's asking for their vote and tell them that the book, even if it's fake, has everything in there being implemented without this man realizing that the book is only a collection of things that have already been done.
But when he said implemented, he named one or two?
No, he didn't. But he won't. But that's their strategy. But again, I am not surprised. But we need to have this conversation for the sake of the young people. Who doesn't know this man? Have you seen that video of him when he was campaigning and said that when it's election period, you can say whatever you want to turn the minds of the people, and that even if you have to lie, you have to lie. I don't know if your team has. If your team. I think I shared the video with your team.
President, you have the video, get it ready and let me know whether it's ready and we show it.
He actually said that.
President Mahama?
Yes, he did.
When?
He said that on a campaign trail. This is not miracles or anybody say he said that on a campaign trail. And the video is there. That when it's election period, whatever you have to say to turn the minds of the people, you must say it. And that you need to do whatever you have to do to get their votes, including lying. And see, if it's lies, then you add lies. If it's truth, then you add truth. You mix them so you can turn the minds of the people. So for such a statesman, clearly you realize that he's an outlier. He's not our regular statesman, the kind of statesman we are used to. This is an outlier. This is one we haven't seen before. And that's why he could go out there and reiterate a propaganda scheme that they have initiated. But to the young people watching us, they should recall that for all the elections we've gone with the NDC, this is what they do. And anytime they do these things and win power, they come back to tell the people that whatever we said was untrue. And I'm sure you've seen Fifi Kwete
in Parliament.
Fifi Kwete, Victor Smith told the people of this country that President Kufuor and his government had stolen all the gold reserves. All the gold reserves and sent abroad. They told the people of this country that President Kufuor and his government were thieves. In fact, Paul, do you know what they did? They went to print bank statements of government officials, and pasted across this country. This is not the first time they are writing a book. Yeah. This is not the first time they are printing documents. They printed bank statement from ADB, GCB.
I remember. I interviewed Cabinet in 2016. They said he had houses in London.
In fact, if you put the amount of money they said they have, it was even more than the GDP of this country.
Yeah, they did. In 2008, I remember that.
And they created
it. Executive.
So this is not the first time they are writing.
That's why it irks me when Fifi Kwete stands on a platform and is praising President Kufuor. I was so angry.
No, but that's wickedness. You see, if you can orchestrate such wickedness against a man and later come and praise him, it tells you how wicked you can be as a person. And then fast forward, he comes for a veteran. I don't know whether we have the veteran video.
Or the veteran will play it so many times.
Sit in front of the veteran.
Attacher confronts him.
That you said that
the guy is a cripple.
The guy is a criminal. You said that he has stolen the gold reserves. Do you have evidence now that you are in government? And he says, I didn't have any evidence.
It's politics.
It's politics. And may her soul rest in peace. Honorable Amambejunwado said, it was all campaign talk. It was all political talk. So for how long are we going to allow the NDC to take us for granted? That they orchestrate and scheme the same strategy every election, and then we fall for it, and then they come to power, and then they tell us they are sorry, and then they run the country down. Then we call the MPP to come. When we come, instead of having the opportunity to continue from where we left off, we have to go and fill their hole. And by the time we are done filling their hole, we now come under pressure. And we are being asked to show what we have done when we have spent so much time fixing the mess that they caused. And that's why we are having this conversation, Paul. And we are very grateful to you for constantly creating these opportunities for this conversation. Mine is to put out the facts. Yours is to come and contend the facts. Don't insult me. Don't come and fight me. Just come and tell me, Miracles, you mentioned this one is not true. You mentioned this one is not true. But I can bet you. I never come out to speak if I don't have the facts. I never come out to say something if I don't know the truth. I have never spoken about this Agyapadie thing because I hadn't been bothered about it.
In fact, I called you 3 weeks ago and said you were studying it.
Yes.
Yeah, I was quite impressed.
Yes, until I heard the opposition leader who is contesting with my boss trying to use it as a weapon against my flag. But I said, no, then we have to deal with it. Because then he has now come to show that he is part of this grand
no, but he didn't say he's part.
Oh, but why?
He seemed to agree that it may be fake. Okay, even if it's fake, why are you people implementing it? what is being implemented that is inimical to the progress of the
There
Ghanaian
is not
state?
a single.
There is not a single MD of Senate.
There is not a single thing in that book that hasn't happened. That has happened. Everything in that book is what has already happened that they put into the book.
But those things that have happened, is it things that show clearly that is inimical to the development of Ghana?
Not even one.
For instance, Osafo Mafo is MD of Senate. If you take Osafo Mafo's CD and CV, he can be MD of Senate in any country.
If you say that Kojo Oponkroma will be made communications minister, what is the?
That's part of the Agyapadie.
Oh yes.
And let me Minister for Information.
Yeah. No, communication.
Eslausu's communication.
Yes,
but that hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened.
But how is that Agyapadie?
And then let me also tell you, so the MPP, Gabi and Co. were writing a book, and they got Kojo Oponkroma's name wrong.
Well, how is the name wrong?
Oh, they wrote Kojo Oponkroma. When we all know how, don't you know how to
KOJO?
They wrote KW. They don't know him. You see, clearly it wasn't written by, in fact, any police station executive in MPP will not misspell Kojo Oponkroma's name.
How much more important?
How much more people who had a grand scheme and are this intelligent to get everything right and predict the future, as you may claim, and then they who are writing their own book about their own so-called family get their grandfather's picture wrong, and come to put an Ashanti king in a book mistakenly to be that of their grandfather. Why? And we have professors, doctors, former president falling for this. Professors who? People who are marking people.
Are you talking about Ransford Jampo?
Kwame Mensah.
Oh, Kwame Mensah has indicated that he's thinking left wing. So
I mean, but if you're thinking left wing, for Christ's sake, Paul, you know, I am MPP.
Yes.
But I put out only facts.
Yeah, that's true.
The fact that I'm MPP doesn't mean that I should just, you know. Paul, you see, I'm too sensible and too smart to fall for things like, because my children will ask me, what would happen?
I mean,
what would happen
if Mensah, because he says, I'm thinking.
It doesn't matter. But so what happens when?
At least fidelity to the truth. That's
what happens when your 12-year-old son becomes 18 and sees this, and comes and says, "Daddy, but why? Why did you fall for this? Why did you propagate this?" And these are people who are qualifying people to be doctors. So they will be called doctors. So you say, "Oh, my supervisor was professor something." Why? When this is so glaring, so obvious. I mean, I have identified 56 reasons why that book is fake.